Welcome to your Scorpio horoscopes for the week of March 31st through April 6th. No planets in Scorpio this week, but we are officially in a Mercury retrograde this week, a full Aries Mercury retrograde this week, which means communication could turn quite volatile at any minute. But it can turn back to not being volatile in just as quick of a time, because that really is the energy of Aries. It's short, quick burst, and then whew, it's gone, kind of a thing. That might be a little bit interesting for you guys, especially because focus is on those you love. We're in this interesting world right now, actually. Because this is what this reminds me of. We're in this very interesting world right now where politically people are on different sides, and the arguments for each side and people staying in one side or the other, it's just become so incredibly crazy and volatile that like it's splitting families, friendships are ending over it. I mean, it's absolutely just insane how how this energy is unfolding and continues to unfold, because we've been dealing with it for years and it just seems to be getting worse. It's not getting better. So I kind of feel like in a sense this really is what you guys are going to be dealing with this week. It's almost like I finally have some time just to focus on the people that I love, and I'm so happy to be able to do that. And then all of a sudden, it's like they're angry all the time, or there's just all these different things coming up, and you're like, "Whoa, this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't what I wanted to deal with." It's really easy for Scorpios to react to that kind of energy coming at them. A lot of times most fixed signs do have a tendency to not I mean, they can take a lot, but as soon as it feels like a direct attack at them, boom, you're going to get a fight. And this is really what you want to avoid as much as possible this week, because the Mercury retrograde is behind a lot of this nonsense here, as it is. A lot of people are going to react to the energy that's going on around you. And the thing is that the more you react to those people, the more miserable you are. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where you're like, I was really looking forward to just spending some time with the people that I love, and all of a sudden it just ends up in an argument. Why even bother? Why do I even try at all? The thing is that a lot of the times what I notice with a lot of people is that people just have bad days. It's something that happens, and something happened to them earlier, and then it just kind of sort of rolled downhill. And by the time you get home and you got to deal with your spouse, you just so frustrated, and just kind of, all that frustration is coming out, and then you are sitting there looking at this person going, okay, did I sign up to be your emotional punching bag today? But they're not trying to make you their emotional punching bag. They're just so frustrated. They got to vent all this out. My advice is two things. One, first of all, in my own marriage, I've seen this a lot, okay? Because my husband is just one of those people, especially when he was a bus driver, for instance. It was such a miserable job. He had to deal with the most miserable people every single day. He had to come and vent his frustration every night. And in the beginning, it was like all night long. From the time he walked through the door until the time he shut his eyes, it was just this constant. And sometimes he would even go into a tangent about what happened the day before that and the day before that. And it just kind of sort of kept spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. So one of the things that we did was we established a venting time limit. Knowing that venting is really important. It's a really important part of relationships. This is one of the reasons why it's necessary in some cases to have a significant other. That significant other is really important to being a sounding board for your frustration, not the victim of your frustration, but just a safe place where you can get it all off your chest. And establishing a time limit for that is definitely a good thing because it gives them what they need, but it also gives you what you need, which is time to not have to listen to that. You can move into something other than that and focus on and maybe enjoy that time. If you are fighting against it from the beginning and not giving them what they need, then it becomes a big problem. The other thing is that we definitely don't see the people around us in the way that they are, but the way that we think they are, or the way that we want them to be. And that is always an issue because once we see who they really are, we may not like it so much. Or, the whole vision of what we thought this person was, the bubble just gets burst and we're left with something that maybe we don't want necessarily. So it's always good to be honest about what it is that we're requiring here and really being honest about who the people are that are in our lives. That's a number one important thing right there. The more honest you are about who these people are, the easier it is for you to get along with them, if that makes sense. If you're living in some sort of land where this person is actually a completely different person in your mind, you're going to be disappointed. And I know this for a fact because I've been there multiple times. And you don't, if you're constantly setting yourself up for that disappointment, it definitely gets to a point where it's really damaging to the relationship. So you want to try and avoid that. Bottom line here is that it is one thing to be excited about spending time with your family, but you have to be realistic about it because people are always going to be people. What you don't want is to put yourself in this position of thinking that it's going to be a certain way, only to prove to you that it's not that way at all. And really, the only place that you can go with that is disappointment because things didn't change the way you wanted them to, if that makes sense. So, and I hope that did make sense, actually. I feel like I rambled a little bit through that. But that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending a tip or donation through my coffee link in the description. Really appreciate that. Love the coffees. You guys are awesome. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, you guys enjoy that time, but make sure that you enjoy the real time and not the fabricated relationship that you have come up with in your mind, if that makes sense. Some of that is there, yes, but of course, we want to be realistic about who the people are around us. I'll see you guys next week. You guys make sure that you make it a great week.